small farm. And the farm did produce just about what they needed. They had a little hay, a little corn, they had other crops, and they had a barn. And in their barn, there was a chicken, a pig, a cow, and a horse. And in their house, there was a mouse. Now the mouse loved living in the house, because when the farmer and his wife ate, they would drop crumbs. They were kind of messy, and the mouse would run out and eat the crumbs. And sometimes when the farmer or his wife cooked, they would make a mess and drop something, and the mouse would wait for his chance and then run out and grab it. So the mouse loved living in a house, good times living in a house. But what the mouse loved best of all was when the farmer would hitch the horse up to the cart, take the cart to town to go shopping, because he would bring back other really good stuff. And this day, the mouse was looking out the window of the house, just waiting to see if the farmer was coming back. And soon he saw the horse pull the cart into the yard. And the farmer got out of the cart, and he was carrying a package. It was wrapped in brown paper, and it was tied with a string. And the mouse said, "Ooh, I bet it's something good." And the farmer brought the package into the house, he set it down on the table, he pulled the string, and he pushed the paper back. And inside was a mousetrap. And the mouse said, "Oh no! The farmer means me harm. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh no, I don't. And so the mouse, he ran down to the barn. When he got to the barn, he said, "The farmer has a mousetrap! The farmer has a mousetrap! The farmer has a mousetrap!" And the chicken said, "Well there, mouse. Sounds like a bad time for you." And then the chicken just flew off and sat in her nest. And the mouse said, but the farmer has a mousetrap! The farmer has a mousetrap! And the pig said, "Well there, mouse. It was good knowing you." And then the pig went off to roll in the mud. And the mouse said, "But the farmer has a mousetrap!" And the cow said, "Ooh, I'm so sorry for you, mouse. You have a problem, but it's not my problem." And the cow went off to eat hay. And the mouse said, but the farmer has a mousetrap." And then he didn't know what to do, and so he actually went back to the house, and he found this little hole in the wall, and he went inside the little hole, and he cowered back there, and then slowly the sun went down. The moon came up. And in the darkest part of the night, suddenly a sound was heard in the kitchen. Snap! Now the farmer's wife, who was not a deep sleeper, heard that sound, and she sat up and said, "I guess we've caught that pesky mouse." And she hopped out of bed, didn't even bother to put on her slippers, padded into the kitchen to see. And she hadn't reached the light when she stepped down on a snake. You see, a snake had been crawling across the kitchen floor and gotten its tail caught in the trap. Now, when that snake felt her big old bare foot come down on it, it was scared. So you know what it did. It bit her. She said, "Ah!" Well, she screamed, and the farmer, well, that woke him up, and he hopped up and he ran into the kitchen, and there was his wife just holding her foot, and there was a snake, and so he got rid of the snake, and he took his wife and he cleaned up her foot, and he put some ointment on it, and he wrapped it up, and he packed it with ice, and he put her to bed. But by the morning, she was sick. And the farmer was so worried, and she was sick that day, and she was sick the next day, and she was sick the next day, and the farmer, he just didn't know what to do, and he began to ask people, "What should I do? My wife is so sick." And one of the neighbors said, "Well, when my wife was sick, I made her chicken soup." So the farmer went to the barn with his axe and chop. He made chicken soup for his wife. And he fed it to her, but she did not feel better. As a matter of fact, she got sicker and sicker. And soon, neighbors and family members came to the house, and they began to sit around the house with him and with his wife, because that's what folk will do. And the farmer, he had this house full of people, and he didn't know what to feed them. So
He went to the barn with his axe and barbecued ribs and pulled pork for all the neighbors. But his wife was sick for such a long time that the farmer, he couldn't bring in the crops and he couldn't take care of the farm. If he didn't bring in the crops, he had nothing to sell, so he had no money and he didn't know how he was going to pay his bills. And he thought, what will I do to pay my bills? So he went to the barn and he got the cow and he took it to town and he sold it. And meanwhile, the mouse was watching all this from his hiding place. And the mouse said, I tried to tell them. I tried to tell them the farmer had a mouse trap. Didn't they know? A mouse trap for me